Hi there. So what I just wanted to show you guys is how you can use GraFx to set up this self-pulsing accent pixel or accent pixels, which is actually compatible with any of the color profiles that's on your saber, and you don't need to create any bitmap image file to get this to work. So as you can see, the saber is in idle right now, and it's got a pulsing crystal. On ignition and all the other effects, the pixel is responsive to the blade profile, and
he is strong with the force.
When going back to idle, it will start pulsing again. Now, this setup can easily be created by just using the configuration files on your CFX. So let me show you. And first get rid of this. Now, what you can do on any default package or any package which got the 7F firmware or up, the folder structure is like this. You go into the extra and then into the pixies, which will contain the configuration files for your accent pixels. And let's go into the first folder. Here you will find the GraFx bitmap files, which we can leave as they are right now. We don't need them. But inside the pixels configuration file, we need to change a couple of things. Now, as you can see in my setup, I've only got one accent pixel. So what I need to change is these A's. These represent, each A represents one pixel on the accent strip. So I only need one, so I can remove these all. And I want them to mirror the blade in each stage of the CFX. So during power on, power off, pre-on, post off, etc. I just want them to mirror the main blade. So I can replace this with a single S. And I can remove these pulse settings, which we will need for the idle. Replace this. This is already one. For the idle, I will leave this as is. So now for each stage of the CFX, the one pixel will now mimic the main blade. And for the idle stage, I want to use some different options that we have for these characters. Now you can find these options in the manual. It's in page 174 of the most recent manual, and you can find the options that you can place on these lines. So you can place a small R or a capital R. You just need to read the manual to see what your options are. Now, in this case, I want a self-pulsing accent, and there we have several options. Mainly, it's the capital B, which will self-pulse and use the blade color, so that's the color parameter from your color profile, or you can use the capital X, which will use the crystal color from your color profile. So this enables you. I'd like to use the crystal color, so I can set a different color than my main blade for the pulse. Two other parameters come into play, and that's the pulsed and pulsal parameter. Now, the first one with the D defines the depth of your pulse, and I do believe it's a percentage. And the second one is the duration of your pulse in milliseconds. So with this you can influence the speed of your pulse. Now, let's leave this for idle and use this and remove this for the lookup. Now, if you save this and you remember the index of the pixies file, which is 0. You need to remember that number, and let's go into the blade profiles and the main configuration. Now I've got this set up I've got this, not in this setup because this is the default package, but I've got an accent strip set to 1 on my saber for the 1 accent pixel, and it's wired to the LS1 pad, so we need to use a positive number. If it's wired to the LS2 pad, you need to use a negative number. Now let's go into the blade profile. What I need to do is change the style pixies to point to the index of the folder where we placed the pixies or pixels configuration file in, so that in this case it's a 0. Now doing this, now I've linked the blade profile to the GraFx pixie setup, and if I should use this in my saber right now and reboot, then the first pixel should pulse just like the example over here.
Come, little one.
That's about it. It will completely ignore any of the bitmap files that are in the same pixies folder, so you can leave them as is. I don't use them. Set the depth and the length of the self-pulsing accent pixel. Use the X to use the crystal color, or use the B to use the regular blade color. And if you set every other stage to use the S, then in those stages it will mimic the main blade. So it's a real easy configuration. I'll make sure to share this config in the description below and on the posts. So I hope this helps. Enjoy. Bye bye.